Hello, my name is Pamela Rose, and today we're going to talk about intervals. An interval is just the distance between two notes. So the distance between, say, here and here is one interval, and the distance between here and here is another interval. When the two notes are played or written separately, say from C, and then you have another note after it, E, that's called a melodic interval, because that's how you would hear a melody or a tune sound. When the two notes are written together, so simultaneously, and played like that, that's called a harmonic interval. We are now going to look at how we describe intervals and at the various steps we need to take. The first step we need to take when we're describing intervals is to count the named notes. So from C to E, there are three named notes, C, D and E. So that would be a third. From C to E sharp, we have still three named notes, so it will still be a third. C, D and E something. If we called this not E sharp but F, we would find we had four named notes. So C, D, E and F, we've got four named notes, so it would be a fourth. It's really important to organise this in a way that is incredibly accurate, because this forms the basis of how we are going to describe our intervals. Another thing to check out is when we get enharmonics. For example, if we've got C to A flat, we've got C, D, E, F, G, A, 6 named notes. So it's a sixth. But if we call that A flat a G sharp, which is its enharmonic. If you're not sure about enharmonics, do go back to my session on scales and enharmonics and have that explained to you there. But if we call this a G sharp, it is now C, D, E, F, G, 5 named notes, so it's now a fifth. So to look at the further clarification of intervals, right now we can clarify an interval and say it's a second or a third or a fourth or a fifth. I'm going to use C major because it's the clearest way to see how music is laid out. In these melodic intervals, if I go from C to D, that is a second. C to E is a third. C to F, a fourth. C to G, a fifth. C to A, a sixth. C to B, a seventh. And C to C, your eighth or octave. I'm going to use the key of C major because it's the clearest way to see how music is laid out. If I play from C these melodic intervals as I go up to the scale of C major, I'm just going to show you how these intervals start off. C to C is a perfect first. C to D is a major second. C to E is a major third. C to F is a perfect fourth. C to G is a perfect fifth. C to A is a major sixth. C to B is a major seventh. And C to C is your perfect eighth or octave. We know that in the key of C major, the firsts are perfect, the seconds are major, thirds are major, fourths are perfect, fifths are perfect, sixths are major, sevenths are major, and octaves, eighths, are also perfect. Now, let's look at those intervals and see what happens to them when they are made a semitone larger or a semitone or two semitones smaller. First of all, let's look at the major intervals. Let's take the major third. I've got a major third here from C to E. If I increase that by one semitone, so I make the E into an E sharp, I have an augmented interval. So one semitone more than a major interval is an augmented interval. If I take the major interval again, a major third, and I say not to C to E, which is my major third, I say it's from C to E flat, it becomes a minor third. So one semitone less than a major third is a minor third. One semitone less than a major is a minor, but two semitones less than a major third is a diminished. So if I said this was C to E double flat, it would be a diminished third. Let's look at a perfect interval. Let's take a fourth. C to F is a perfect fourth. If I say C to F sharp and increase that interval by one semitone, it becomes an augmented fourth. Listen to that sound. In medieval times, that interval was outlawed by the Pope on the basis that it was an evil interval. So you weren't allowed to play it or sing it. And I suppose if you did, then woe betide you. So that's your augmented interval. It's one semitone larger than your perfect interval. If I said that that was not C to F, but C to F flat, it would become a diminished fourth. So, from your perfect intervals, if you increase them by one semitone, make them one semitone larger, they become augmented. And if you decrease them by one semitone, make them one semitone smaller, they become diminished. So now we know, if we look at C to F, that is a perfect fourth. The distance between those two notes will always be a perfect fourth if you have four named notes involved. So if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 semitones, say I'm on E and I want to get to a perfect fourth, I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I know that E to A is four named notes, so E to A is also a perfect fourth. Let's have a look at another one. C to E will always be 1, 2, 3, 4 semitones apart. C to E is our major third. We know it's a major third because we've organised that already in the key of C major. So if I say from F sharp, I want to find a major third, I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. It has to be an A that I go to because I have to have three named notes in the third. So that has to be F to A sharp is my major third. Cannot be a B flat because that will be a fourth. So say I'm given an interval of F sharp to A sharp. This is a little bit more like it would be in your grade 5 theory exam. I'm given an interval, melodic interval of F sharp to A sharp and asked to describe that interval. First of all, I count the named notes, and that's an F, G and A. So three named notes. This is a third, F sharp to A sharp. Then I'm going to count the semitones. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go back to C because C major is the clearest way for us to see how music is laid out. And I'm going to count 4 semitones up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I land on E. The C to E is a third still because it's got 3 named notes. So it's a major third. I know it's a major third. And that means that F sharp to A sharp is also a major third. It's always a great fail-safe check to know your named notes, how many there are, count the semitones, and then go back to your scale of C, which is so easy to look at. Remember, an interval like a fourth or a fifth, which starts off as perfect, will never become major or minor. And an interval like a second or a third, which starts off as major, will never become perfect. Sometimes we come across an interval which is larger than an octave. The easiest way to deal with this is to call it compound. For example, if we have an interval which goes from this middle C to this E, which is larger than the octave, we call the interval a compound interval, and we treat it as though it's just from this C to this E. So it would be a major third. But actually, from here to here would be a compound major third. You would definitely get a question on at least one compound interval in your grade 5 theory examination. I also want you to listen to the different intervals so that you can hear that that's a second, that you can hear that that's a third. And try and sing them as well. This will really help your oral. And for instrumentalists who are not playing the piano, it will help your sight reading immensely as well. Check your results when you sing them on the piano or on an instrument that you're playing. Be musically aware and connect everything that we're learning with your own music. My next session is going to be on transposition, and I look forward to seeing you there.